The postseason is here, and we are kicking off the Gymact Conference Championships this weekend. Starting off with the Eastern Conference, this graphic may look a little bit confusing, but I'm going to take you through it pretty slowly. Alright, so if you look on the top right side, you see Gymact East A. This division features Temple, New York Alliance, and Georgia United. Temple beat both of these other teams and ended with a 2-0 record. And then if you look at the bottom side of the bracket, you see Gymact East B with Minnesota, NIU, and UIC. And like Temple, Minnesota also beat both of their teams in their division, which leaves us with Temple and Minnesota battling it out this weekend in Gymact East. The Gymact Eastern Conference Championships will feature Minnesota and Temple, as I just mentioned, because of their 2-0 records in their divisions. And this competition will be a virtual competition where the teams upload routines into a Google Drive, and then the judges will judge them from there. So taking a look at both of these teams, starting off with Temple, you see they posted a 337, 334, 356, and 353, whereas Minnesota's posted 338, 356, 363, and 358. So both of these scores are very close. You see Minnesota with the higher ceiling with that 363 and the JRI Invitational. But if you look overall, the scores are pretty close, with Temple's most recent meets being in the mid to high 350s, as well as Minnesota's three most recent meets all being around the mid to high 350s and even breaking 360. But overall, there should be a very close competition between these teams. And now I'm going to look at each individual event, and I added all the scores up so far, all the highest scores, because we're really getting at the point throughout the gymnastics season to where we are expecting the highest scores this late in the year. Right, you've had some competition experience under your belt, so you're really expecting the highest scores for your team. So far this season, we've seen with the highest potential score, Temple has the lead on the floor and vault, while Minnesota takes the advantage on every single other event, as well as the total. Right, you see the totals at 374 for Minnesota for their highest potential score, as well as Temple's at 370.65. So both teams are breaking the 370 mark, which is a big accomplishment. The biggest separator event is probably the pommel horse, with Minnesota having a decently sized advantage, although it is still within 2 points, so it is a close advantage. Temple leads the floor by 1.2, so that's another decently separated event. Every other event is probably within about a point to a point and a half. So it's really close scores, and it should be a really close meet. Here's the freshman phenom from Minnesota, Kellen Ryan, and his vault from week 1. Huge cause 1.5 for Soup 2.5, however you want to say it. It scored a 14.65. That's really all that matters, folks. It was an amazing vault. It scored an amazing score. Kellen Ryan is the athlete to watch for Minnesota this weekend. For Temple, I wanted to highlight Jacob Biller and his floor routine. He posted a 13.4 at this competition. He's got an absolutely huge triple full. Beautiful, and it got the stick. And I love all the celebration and the hype that his teammates gave him there. Really gave him the energy to finish the rest of the floor routine out. I wanted to show a few more passes there. Nice front double full there. Very difficult. To start your routine with a triple full and then a front double full. Very difficult, so a great sequence there. And he also has this sky-high double back with just a small step. So great sequence there for Jacob Biller. I believe he's the athlete to watch for Temple. Now moving on to Gymact West. It's a similar type bracket, so look at the top left side now. You see Gymact West A with Arizona Men's Gymnastics, Rocky Mountain Pride, as well as KC United. Arizona won both of their competitions, leaving them with a 2-0 record. And down at the bottom, you see Gymact West B with Iowa, Washington, and SoCal United. Iowa didn't win both competitions, but that's because, unfortunately, the meet between Iowa and SoCal United couldn't happen. But because they had 1 win and 0 losses because they didn't have that other competition, they take the crown in Gymact West B, leaving us with Arizona Men's Gymnastics versus Iowa. The Gymact West Conference Championships also happen this Saturday. It will be live streamed on Virtual Star Gymnastics at 3 o'clock Eastern or noon Pacific, and it really features the 2 heavyweights in Gymact Gymnastics. You've got Arizona Men's Gymnastics, who has really dominated the scene in recent memory, and kind of the new kid on the block in Iowa. Right, they were a Big Ten team for a very long time in NCAA, and now they're hunting a Gymact West Conference Championship as well as maybe even a national championship. These teams have both posted some crazy scores, but they've done it in completely different ways. Iowa kind of has a smaller roster now since they lost so many guys due to transfer last year, but nonetheless, they still posted a score in the 390s, which is just absurd. Arizona Men's Gymnastics, as we know, has so many guys in their team. They have so many resources, so many different athletes they can use, but they've had so many battles to fight this year. But nonetheless, they've improved their score at the Pac-12 Invitational and at 354, all the way up to a 384 against SoCal United. So big battles there for Arizona, and I'm really interested to see who wins this heavyweight fight between Iowa and AMG. The two key events in this competition have to be the pommel horse and the rings. The pommel horse is the only event where so far this year Arizona men's gymnastics has a higher potential score than Iowa, where the rings is really one of Arizona's weaker events and it's one of Iowa's strongest events. So if we can see Iowa get a big lead on the rings, or if we can see Arizona build a big lead on the pommel horse, those are the two events to watch out for and see how the competition is going to go. I mean, look at the total potential score. Iowa's highest potential score is up 405.35. That's just unheard of for a Gymact team. So exciting to see for them. Well, Arizona's still almost hitting 400, right? They're at 398.5, and they could even break that because, as I mentioned earlier, this is the time we're expecting the highest scores of the year, and now Arizona should have all their guys back. So it's going to be really interesting, and it is just truly going to be a heavyweight battle. So as I mentioned, pommel horse is one of Arizona's strongest events, and a big reason for that is both Clayton Cunningham as well as Kyle Burris. They've posted mid to high 13s in some competitions this season. So if they can hit their sets, they could definitely give Arizona a big lead. Jackson Harrison has posted 14s on both the floor and the vault this season, so if he can repeat that, he's looking at a great spot to potentially win a Gymact West Conference championship on those events while helping his team out. One of the favorites in this competition for the all-around has to be Arizona's Jordan Williams. He's probably their best all-arounder so far this year, and I'm really excited to see if he can top out Iowa's Evan Davis. For Iowa, as I mentioned earlier, one of their best events is the rings, and it's because of their top three. They have three guys all breaking above 13.5. Evan Davis, James Friedman, Carter Tope. I wouldn't be surprised if one of them hits a 14 this competition. On the vault, it's the stud Amari Sewell. He does an insanely high and very clean cos 1.5, which is a 15.2 start value. In one meet this year, he posted a 14.75, which is less than 5/10 in deduction. That's a very clean vault there from Amari, and definitely a vault you should watch. And the all-around, it's the leader, it's the captain, Evan Davis. He's hoping to break 80 one more time this season. He posted at 83.3. And like I said, he's hoping to break 80 one more time to maybe win the all-around and hopefully lead Iowa to a Gymact West Conference championship.